The Last Word. Episode 1. Fighting the System, My Journey Through Care Funding, Corruption, and the Search for Justice. An introduction. My name is Tim Tully. I live in Cornwall, and for years I believed, like most people, that when your parents become ill, the system that's meant to protect them will do exactly that. I believed that the law was clear. I believed that professionals were honest. I believed that public bodies acted in good faith. What I didn't know then was that I was about to walk into a system where the law was twisted, where evidence was manipulated, and where the people responsible for safeguarding the vulnerable were, in fact, breaking the very laws they were meant to uphold. This is the story of how I uncovered systemic wrongdoing in Cornwall Council's handling of care funding. How I learned the law myself, piece by piece. How I fought through the courts. How the local government ombudsman refused to investigate. And how, even now, the truth is still being buried. But this is also the story of how I refuse to give up. And why I'm speaking out now. Section 1, The Beginning. My journey starts long before I ever knew what continuing healthcare meant. Before I knew what CRAG was, or the National Assistance Act, or the NHS's legal duty to fund nursing care. It starts with my parents, both of them vulnerable, both of them needing care, both of them entitled to support under laws that had been in place for decades. Back then, I trusted the professionals. I trusted the assessments. I trusted the council. I didn't know that the information I was being given was false. I didn't know that the council had no legal power to charge for nursing care. I didn't know that the property caution they placed on my home was unlawful, a misuse of the land registry system to secure a civil debt they had no right to pursue. All I knew was that I was grieving, caring, and trying to do the right thing. And that's exactly when people like me are most vulnerable. Section 2, The Misrepresentations. As time went on, things didn't add up. Documents contradicted each other. Assessments didn't match the medical evidence. Statements made by council officers were inconsistent, incomplete, or simply untrue. I was told charges were mandatory when the law said they weren't. I was told the council had the right to secure my home when the law said they didn't. I was told nursing care was social care when the law said it was the NHS's responsibility. These weren't mistakes. They were misrepresentations. And misrepresentation, when it causes financial loss, is fraud. Fraud by false representation under Section 2 of the Fraud Act 2006. But at the time, I didn't know that. I only knew that something felt wrong. Section 3, Learning the Law. I didn't set out to become an expert in care law. But when you're fighting for your home, your family, and the truth, you learn fast. I read everything. The National Assistance Act 1948. The Chronically Sick and Disabled Persons Act 1970. The NHS and Community Care Act 1990. CRAG, the Charging for Residential Accommodation Guide. Case law. Ombudsman decisions. Parliamentary reports. And slowly, painfully, the truth emerged. Cornwall Council had acted outside the law. They had charged for services they had no legal power to charge for. They had used a property caution unlawfully. They had misrepresented statutory duties. They had withheld evidence. They had manipulated assessments. And they had done it to a grieving family who trusted them. Section 4, The System Strikes Back. When I finally understood what had happened, I did what any citizen is told to do. I reported it. In October 2021, I submitted a detailed report to Action Fraud. I provided evidence. I provided documents. I provided everything they needed. And what did I receive? A standard letter. No investigation. No follow-up. No accountability. The local government ombudsman refused to investigate. The council denied wrongdoing. The system closed ranks. It was the same pattern I would later see in other cases, including the case of Andy Dunstan, who has now also reported Cornwall Council for fraud. Different families. Different years. Same authority. Same behavior. This isn't an isolated incident. It's a pattern. Section 5. Why I'm speaking out. I'm telling this story because silence protects the wrong people. I'm telling it because families across Cornwall and across the country are being misled, pressured, and financially exploited by systems that rely on people not knowing the law. I'm telling it because the institutions meant to protect us have failed. And I'm telling it because I refuse to let what happened to my family happen to anyone else. This is my journey. This is my evidence. This is the truth. And this is only the beginning.